Hi, and welcome to this video on study modes for CSEC English A. This is something that is, well, new and not new at the same time, but hopefully it's going to give you a better plan for studying CSEC English A. This is part one, and this is the focused mode. All right, so what the study modes essentially are a schedule for you to work on your past papers because English A is kind of like it's really a practical. It's really a practical exam. All right. You may not have thought of it that way, but trust me, think of it as a practical and you'll understand that this is the best method for getting prepared. So essentially with a past paper schedule, you want to have paper twos, paper ones. I'm also going to give you recommended deadline dates for finishing your papers, as well as this is something that's ideally you should be starting in February. I like January, but ideally you can start in February of your exam year. So what is focus mode? Actually, I have three modes. Uh, Focus mode is like the regular mode. All right. If your schedule is really busy, and this is the reality for many students who are in their exam year, because all of a sudden you've got SBAs due, you still have work to put in, stuff like that. A lot of stuff just ridiculously happens, right? So it can work with your busy schedule. It's a moderate pace. So it's a very moderate pace. We're not going too fast. We're not going too slow. That's why I'm saying it's a focus mode. It's going to help you focus on the exam, even with all the other things that you have to accomplish. It's also moderate stress. Guys, we can't avoid stress if we're aiming for greatness. However, with this piece, we are not going to, especially if we're really busy, we're not going to overstress ourselves. All right. We're not going to unduly stress ourselves. Right. Essentially, what this should accomplish for you is that every single month, you should be able to complete two paper twos, right? So two paper two past papers and two paper ones. All right. Like I said, very, very focused. Okay. And I'm going to show you exactly what it is. So this is the exact schedule I'm using with my class. It is actually the first time I'm doing a schedule like this. However, for students who are really, really busy, I do recommend it. So I'm showing you the exact past papers that recommending for my classes. Okay. So you're gonna see a deadline date. That's like Friday is my no, that's Saturday. Sorry. Those days are Saturdays. All right. So you want to make sure that by the weekend you have accomplished these activities. All right. So essentially for paper twos, you're going to work on summary and informative 1 week. All right, so that's the section A question and the section B question in paper two. And in the second week, you're going to do the short story and the argumentative, which will be the section C and section D questions. All right, it's that simple. All right, and that's what you do first half of the month. That's what you do the second half of the month. What I'm working on with my classes is May June 2021, first half of the month, and then we're doing January 2021. All right, for paper two, sorry, for paper one, you'll also notice that I have split that as well. So we have Jan 22 comprehension the first week, second week grammar. If that sounds weird to you, maybe you have never seen a paper one. It's split between a lot of grammar and vocabulary in the first half, and then the second half is comprehension. Sometimes comprehension starts from question 35. Often it's around there. All right, so you want to work on the comprehension first, and then you want to work on the grammar the following week. Like I said, very, very focused, right? You're focusing on summary on informative 1 week, you're focusing on comprehension that same week. And I like how I paired it like this because essentially for summary and informative, you need comprehension skills, analytical skills, right? That's what supports your ability to perform in those two questions. So that's why it's created like this as well. Well, the grammar is grammar. If you've never heard me say it before, the grammar in paper one is not my favorite. I don't particularly like the questions they bring. But again, you get some grammar to help with your overall expression, and short story and argumentative. They both rely on really phenomenal expression for you to get superior marks. All right. So that's the process. This is what we're doing for February with my class. This is our schedule for March. Okay, so we're still aiming for the weekends to make sure we're getting our work done by the weekends. Jan 2020 and May, June 2019 for paper 2, paper 1, Jan 21 and May, June 2020. And in April, it's Jan 2019 for paper 2 and May, June 2018 for paper 2. And that's, that same process. Paper 1, Jan 2020 and May, June 2019. At the end of April, you want to try and do the entire paper. Just try and do an entire paper 1 week. All right. That's all that you need to do. All right. And essentially, the beauty of this is that you're going to be able to. I left out something again. I always do that. I always leave out something when I do slides because I do them so quickly. I'm sorry. But you if you follow this exact method, you will do 7 paper 2s, 7 paper 1s. That means overall you're going to do 14 papers and you're going to focus on 7 different exam periods, more or less. All right. So that's quite phenomenal. Imagine that you actually are walking into the exam room, at least by the end of April, you actually have focus on 7 papers. For some people, it might be like, sorry, not 7 papers, but at least 7 exam periods. So some people might be like, wow, that's not a lot. But, unfortunately for English, it's a subject where no one practices writing. Hardly anyone, let me not say hardly, at least I get in contact with a lot of students who haven't had practice in writing for whatever reason, right? They say they don't get work in school, they don't get assignments regularly, not at all, but regularly. So having 7 papers, especially in a busy schedule, completing all of those is really, really phenomenal. All right. If this was beneficial, please comment and contribute. Of course, you can subscribe and share the information, and also look out for part 2 and part 3 of this series.